things that you'll find with the Prodigy machine that you'll truly enjoy is the ease of sewing, the wonderful fact that it's very quiet. You can take this machine and you can move in any direction, sew in any direction. And one of the things that I liked about it was that you could move forward and you could sew back, and the needle would go into the very same holes. Wonderful engineering with this machine.
I've had my Prodigy for 3 years. What sold me on the machine is what was included in the price. And a lot of other companies, the stitch regulator and stuff like that was extra. So that's what sold me on it. I love my machine. I sew on it every day. I wanted to get into the quilting, the quilt designs, and how do you do them, and what do you do, and I wanted to do it by machine. I'm not a hand quilter, love it, but didn't want to do it. I want to imitate hand quilting by machine. So that was one of the reasons why I went looking for a long arm.
Looking at machines, I do have one, but I've been considering the Prodigy. I really like how you have where I can see behind the machine. And I honestly, I don't know anything about it, so you need to help me through. And you've got more buttons here. You know, I've got an on and off, and so you need to
well, don't
to
let
help me a little bit.
You.
Okay, all right.
It's really simple. There's a trigger behind your left,
okay,
and that's a simple needle down, needle up trigger. You have a black, green, and yellow switch, and luckily right now they're not in use.
Okay.
But in the future, when we get our computer machine, they'll come into effect when that comes in for you.
Okay, so right now
now they don't do anything.
Okay, I don't need to worry about those.
Don't need to worry about them. On the right handle, you've got a blue switch. Mm-hmm. This is an auto advance. It will release the quilt.
Oh, cool.
Or advance the quilt.
Okay.
You have a red switch, and that raises this take-up bar. You know, as you feel it with your quilt, you're going to want to raise it.
Okay.
So it can't ride on the machine.
So I don't have to go crank it.
No crank. Just a button. And then you have a white switch, and that is your laser light.
Oh, okay.
And see your laser there? That's adjustable and movable. That's your laser.
That's my laser, okay.
Encasement of your laser light can be twisted off and moved.
Oh, you've got a channel, so you can
channel.
That's pretty cool.
Or it can be moved to your channels under here, because this is where your pattern is going to lie.
Okay,
and then
really
the neat thing is you have a port down here, so when you move...
Oh, you don't have to run your cord all over then.
Right, the cord isn't stretched out.
Okay.
And then it can be turned, and then not only can it be moved, but it is adjustable this way.
Right. Oh, okay.
So you can really line up your pentagram and move your laser.
Oh, that's nice.
You want.
Okay. Your laser light, it's a track system, like overhead track system lights. You can unplug it and move it and plug it in someplace else. You've got a port below for it. You're not having to drag laser light wires everywhere. Makes that a phenomenal machine.
The only thing left now is our right trigger, and that's our go trigger.
Okay.
Now, if you stand here and hold it, it's not really going to do anything. Move it, and they're stitch regulated. Leave your hand off that trigger, and you can move the machine anywhere you want.
Okay.
So they're real simple.
Okay, so you hold it in and take a couple of stitches, and then let go, and I can just do whatever I want to do then.
That's right.
Oh, that's cool.
The accuracy, the stitch regulator is just amazing. It's an amazing machine. It allows me to do what I need to do, and you can't even beat the stitch regulator. There's just nothing out there that does as good.
Your control panel. Now that looks a little scary for us who are, kind of computer illiterate.
It's really very simple. All you have are the 5 F numbers and the enter number to worry about right now.
Okay.
All of those other numbers in there, they're going to possibly come into effect when we have the computer machine. Okay. But right now, you can do everything you want to do with your F number. I always tell the gals, as long as the cursor is blinking by the P, we're ready to stitch.
Okay.
In case you forget to hit enter or something.
All right.
F4. Now we're in stitch regulated mode. That's what auto is.
Okay.
If I hit F4, it'll give me the based mode.
You put it in a base mode. You don't have to do one stitch yourself pushing a button down.
No.
You just put it base mode and pull it across, and it base.
Right. If I put it in base mode, based, enter, one stitch per inch, enter. We'll put it back here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to hold my trigger and move.
I loved basting. To baste hand quilters quilts, you don't have to hold the button down and press it each time you take a stitch. You set it for the stitch length that you want, and you sew, and that is so nice. It will make that job a lot easier. Is this normal on the machine to have the clear plastic in the front?
Yes. And
Is there a reason why?
Sure.
Besides, we get to see the mechanics of it, but
It's the only oiling you have on our machine. There's no wicks, there's no oil pan or anything. There are 5 locations on the top of your machine to oil. So it's real easy to use the long zoom spot oiler, slip in through that slot, and then you can see the 5 locations that you oil. And then you do have to put a drop of oil in your bobbin area, but that's really your maintenance for oiling on your machine.
That's pretty cool.
And they say once every 8 hours.
So I'm not going to find oil on my table back there.
Not going to find oil on the table, not going to find oil coming down on your quilt. These are oilless needle bar and presser bar. There are 3 ceramic bearings in your needle bars.
So it's not metal on metal.
So it's not metal on metal.
That also means we're not going to have graphite down.
That's right.
Getting on your quilt, because that's impossible to get out.
And then in addition to having clear photos of how to oil the machine, we have good step-by-step directions in timing your machine. And that will be taught to you when the dealer delivers it and sets it up.
Black light, that's another issue I have. Normally, I would have to change my light, take the old light out, put the black light in. So does this have a black light with it?
We have dual lights. So if you'll feel under there, there's 2 lights.
Oh, there is.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
I can switch off my white.
Okay.
And then I just reach over and turn on. It's great when you're using white on white thread, because if you use cotton, your cotton thread glows purple. So it's just a matter of reaching under here and turning the switch on and off.
That's nice, not having to change that out. How big is the bed here with this machine? How big can you run?
You've got 24 inches from the back to the needle, and then you deduct whatever your roll is. So you've got approximately 22 inches of actually. If you pull your head all the way back, it goes all the way back, and then it goes all the way to the front.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Our head is balanced, machine balanced, and there are 3 counterweights that are adjustable in the head on the shaft, and that keeps our vibration at a minimal. Okay. And that's how they adjust it. If you see that your batting isn't straight or you have a string under when you advance your quilt, if you just simply pop up your rail, I can reach under here and I can straighten out my batting.
Pull threads out.
Pull my thread out and just pop it right back down.
And just put it in there.
And I'm ready to go.
That's a nice feature too. That's really nice.
And these are friction locks. So your roll is really easy to move. When the lock's popped open and when it's closed, then your quilt is stationary and you're ready to quilt.
Okay. So how do you raise this table?
There's a simple crank in the back. It pops out and a turn goes down, opposite will go up, and you just pull it and push it and it gets back out of the way.
I like being able to adjust the height of the table and not have to get out my car jacks, jack it up, pull some pins, drop my legs, put the pins back in, and haul the car jacks back out to the garage. Let me remember, you hold the trigger and stitch a couple and then just go for it.
Yep.
Boy, that slides really nicely. Well, Sandy, I want to thank you. I really appreciate you taking this time, and you have a really nice machine here.
Thank you. We like it a lot.
I don't think there's a better machine out. Just can't sell me on anything else. It's worth every penny. The service is great. I've never had any problems with anybody. Like I said, I can break the machine. I'm the product tester. And excellent customer service. Excellent. I mean, they're just the best. The machine is excellent. There's nothing that you cannot do on this machine. It threads similar to a home sewing machine, I think. So to me, that's easier threading. You know, the adapting from one machine to another one is not that hard. The biggest seller is the stitch regulator, because I can go as fast or as slow, and it does not change. And I found out on other brands that it will. It will change depending on how fast you go. That's not a problem with this one. Never turned it off, but didn't like it, so I keep it on. What else is there to say? It's my baby! Love it!
I wasn't sure if I was going to buy a long arm. I thought about it, and I had met Cease, my rep, before at a state meeting, and so I called her and I said, I want to come see your machine. And I remember Dan and I saying, we're not going to buy today. You know, we're just going to look. We're not going to buy whatever we do. We're not going to buy today. I don't want to get sucked into how fast that happens. So we went up and looked at it, and there were certain things that I knew I wanted in the machine. I wanted stitch regulation. I was tired of that. As you move and you go a little faster, great big stitches, and you couldn't get in tight places. You couldn't do that type of work. So I went up and we met with Cease, and I tried the machine, and I was so impressed. I was so impressed. It did everything I wanted it to do. One of the things that I wanted it to do, I had quilted a quilt for a well-known teacher, and it had many, many, many seams that all came together in the center. And the machine that I had learned on wouldn't go over that. It would just go right up to it, and it would act just like a guide, and it would bounce it back. And I thought, one of the things it has to be able to do is go over however many layers some quilter's going to put in there. So when we went up, we folded material and we laid it on the machine, and we just walked right over it, and we folded it that amount, double, and it just walked right. We just kept going. And finally I said, that's good enough. It went over everything.
To get started, which is one of the hardest things, because it's really hard to take your quilt that you lovingly pieced and put it on a machine where you have no experience. So most people belong to a guild, and I do, and I volunteered to do some of our community quilts. So I did about 15 quilt tops for them. I quilted them, and that gave me a pretty good start. So I feel I'm not, famous or an expert, but I'm getting there, and I can certainly piece or quilt my quilts and feel comfortable showing them.
When we bought the machine, the stitch regulator was one of the major reasons that I got the machine, and it doesn't skip a stitch. It's an amazing mechanism for the machine. Then I can put any kind of foot on it that I want, because I'm so what would the word be?
innovative, and any industrial foot fits on this machine, and I use a small foot so that I can actually see what I'm working on. I also use other types of things with the machine, and the attachments are just that I use because it's from the industrial world. I can use whatever I want, and I know the freedom of it. The machine is so basic that I can do all the adjustments that I need. I've never had any problems with getting things adjusted with the machine, and it can go for hours and hours and hours. I can quilt for 14 hours a day if I want without getting tired. The first time that I sat down to it with it, it was just incredible. It allowed me to sit, and I needed to sit when I quilted because of the intensity of my quilting. I was able to sit, adjust it to all the heights that I needed. I could adjust the bars at any point, which is not available on any other machine. I can move the bars in if I want to get a closer stitch to it. It was just an amazing machine. People wanting to convert me to other machines, and it just isn't going to happen. I'll probably learn how to use other machines because I need to do that for teaching, but it's just not going to happen. This machine is just so incredible, and the way that the fabrics work with it, and it just is an impressive piece of machinery. I was looking out there at the other machines. They are all incredible machines, and there are a few that I wouldn't even pay any money for at all. But the reality of this machine was its flexibility for what I needed. I also am able to do grid work without rulers because of the accuracy. I can go around applique and do in the ditch work. I can do micro stipple, just incredibly easy. And the machine talks to me. It literally talks to me, and I talk to it, and we become one within the work that I'm doing. And it's just an incredible, incredible machine. There is absolutely no way that my quilts would have won the awards without me using this machine. First, I have tremors. So I couldn't do any more quilting on my domestic machine because I would jerk, and it would cause all sorts of ugliness in the stitch, in the inconsistency in the stitch length. So absolutely, this machine supported me in winning all the awards. The ability to sit hour after hour after hour, because many of my quilts have 800 to 1,000 or even more hours of quilting in it. If I didn't have a machine that I could sit at, have absolutely no problems with, it wouldn't have happened.